evening. I hope you had a good day today and you are ready for SISTA Talk, your favorite show on Thursdays. I'm your host, Linda Talam, and today we are going to learn about our temperaments. Do you know your temperaments? Do you know why you act the way you do? Why you behave the way you do? Why you are always in bright colors? Why sometimes you feel so down, or sometimes you enter a place and you want to take over, be in charge. Today we are going to learn a little bit about our temperaments. I hope you have your notebook and your pen, because I'm sure from today you are going to know your strengths, know your weaknesses, so that you are able to work on them and become a better person. I'd like you to share the feed on both Facebook and YouTube, and also send us a text on the SMS lines that are running below your screens so that we can engage with one another. On set today, I have two beautiful ladies who are experts in this field, and they are going to tell us a little bit more about temperaments. So first on set, I have Judy Zungukakula. Judy is a Kingdom Life Coach. Karibu sana.
Asante na shukuru.
We are glad to see you today.
Yeah, glad to meet you. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
We also have Sarah Muni, a life coach and corporate trainer.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Linda, for having me here. It's a pleasure. Yes.
Wow, so great. So today we are going to learn a little bit more on temperaments, and I hope you are ready. So first, to start us off, Judy, tell us a little bit about what you do. Okay. How did you get there?
All right. I'm a Kingdom Life Coach, like I said, like you said, which means that I run a coaching program based wholly on the Bible. And I run a program called the Realignment Program. The Realignment Program is an 8-week program that is about finding your true identity, and then based on the fact that you have found your true identity, guiding you towards your purpose.
So you've been doing this for a while now?
I've done that for 1 year, and by the grace of God, we're actually celebrating 1 year this week.
Wow.
It's been a great run, great testimonies, and we thank God.
Glad to be with you on set as you celebrate your 1 year.
Asante.
Judy, also, not Sarah, please tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yes, so I'm a life coach. I'm a corporate speaker and trainer, and I basically train mostly in the areas of leadership, change management, and personal development. I also usually have programs that helps people break down what personal development is, because it's a big word, but sometimes if you ask somebody what really it is, they won't point a finger on what it is. So we break it down for people and help them to find themselves, and also build their skills in different areas. So we do both corporate, we do personal, we do youth, different groups. Yes, so I run a company called Lead Pro Africa Consultants.
Wow.
Yes.
So is that what life coaching is?
Oh, life coaching, yes.
So
life coaching.
It's a new term in Kenya.
It's a new term. So life coaching is basically having a coach or somebody who can push you, who can ask you the hard questions about, in life. And most people, like even for this year, they had the New Year resolutions and all that, or goals. Let's not call them resolutions, because so they have goals. But then we are now in September. Okay, let's even October, and you ask somebody, what have you been able to accomplish? And they'll be mumbling or 10%. I did one thing. Yes, they even forgot. So when you have somebody who's pushing you, asking you the hard question, we said by June we will be here. We will have done 1, 2, 3. Where are we? What are the challenges? You are able to get somewhere. So a life coach is basically somebody who pushes you, asks you the hard questions in life so that you can be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve. Yes.
Wow. Life coach. Do you have a life coach?
You need a life coach. You need one. You need one. That's why you see the soccer players, those who perform very well, they have a coach. Oh, wow. They have somebody to push them, tell them, no, that position you're playing, your strength is not there. Your strength is in this area. That's why you're able to score. And the coach doesn't play, but they sit at the vantage point and tell you, okay, this is your strength, and I think you should be doing this, or at least play this position. You will score. And that's how those stars are made, because they listen to coaches. You need one.
So would you say, Judy, that most of the people who would say are successful in life, are somehow being able to be coached by someone, or directed, or it's just you need the anointing and all.
I think for the most part, what has happened, especially in Black Africa, people almost succeeded by accident, so to speak, where then you're not able to actually replicate the same success over and over again, or take it to the next generation, because you simply didn't understand the methodology that took you there. So what we have done as we continued progressing is that we have been able to have a keen eye, then to help you to understand what is it that is your strength that got you to this place, and what can you do then to be able to harness the power of what it is that you have learned, so that you take it to the next generation. So success for the most part has been highly accidental, but then now we can bring thought to it and begin to ask ourselves, what is it about me that has lent me and brought me to this place, and what could I possibly do so that, in as much as sometimes, because when you think about success in our contemporary context, or even within our context, within our society, people think about success in terms of power, wealth, and influence, and that's very shallow. But it's important for us to begin to ask ourselves, then, what impact are we having? When you think about impact, then we get to the place where we begin to ask ourselves about the relationships that we have around us. Then that takes us to the next place where we then begin to interrogate, what is it about me that is, one, able to relate well with people, that is able to open the right doors, that is able to take me to the places that I need to be. And that's a conversation that leads us then to ask ourselves, what is my identity? And at the bedrock of that is temperament.
Wow. And so I believe the first place that you begin to get to know your strengths and to know yourself is temperament. What's your temperament?
Exactly.
So yeah.
So a temperament is basically a behavioral style. It basically seeks to explain why people behave the way they do. And yes, there's a reason as to why you think, feeling, behave the way you do. Two people looking outside, like even the three of us, looking outside, maybe a window, and I ask you, what do you see first? You probably say, sky, I see the birds. Another person, you ask them, we're all looking at the same direction. What do you see? They'll say, I see the people. Another person, you ask them, looking at the same direction, I see the trees and I see the buildings. But we are looking at the same direction because we have a different way of how we view life, we see things. And that's why it's important that you know and understand your temperament, and even of those people around you, so that you can also have stronger relationships, you know? So it's very important. So a temperament is basically a behavioral style. And there are four main ones. And I know most people will know this, but there are four main ones. We have the choleric. I can just start with that. We have one that is called choleric.
Choleric.
Yes, choleric, you know, and these are people, it's an extroverted temperament. And I like to use these four temperaments because they were researched a long time ago, like about 400 years BC. That's like the time of Jeremiah. So they have been studied over time, and I think they've been a bit consistent.
So they somehow form a bedrock for these other
They form a bedrock. Yes, if you go online, you find so many of them, you know, but they will all come down to, you know, these four. So they have been studied over time, and they've been, you know, a bit consistent, yeah? So the first temperament I would speak of is the choleric. So the choleric, these are your bottom line. The main concern of a choleric is money, success, and achievement.
Money, success, and achievement.
Yes, money, success, achievement. For them, they want the numbers, the bottom line. What did we achieve? Even in the boardroom, you find that even those people who they don't want the story. Okay, what did we achieve? How much do you get today? You're trying to explain, they're cutting you short because you know, for them they're more interested with what was the achievement, you know. So of course these are people who they're very goal oriented, they're very logical, they are hard workers, they are workaholics. These people, they are analyzers as well, they are go-getters. They are very dominating as well. Even a child, you can even be able to tell a child who is a choleric. Yes, because they are the two bullies in the estate. They are the ones who are
harassing all children.
They are the two bullies. They're the ones who are organizing things. You find a group of kids, they are the ones controlling the game. At a ball, but they're the ones controlling.
But they somehow get the ball.
Yes.
We make the children
game
play
niao.
This game.
Yes, game niao. Natakutoa kwa game. Then they are bullies. Yeah. So you can be able to tell this temperament, so that you're able to know. It's not like it's a temperament that they have, and you need to understand that, so that uskuna mafinya every time you're able to at least manage it. Yeah. So, and even it's very important even for people to know, because this kind of temperament, you find there are also people who are very domineering. You know, like even in a boardroom, we're having a meeting. You're the only one who thinks. You're the only one who's talking. You're the you don't give people,
and you're not feeling anything like.
Yes, and also they are very intolerant people. Even they can be very intolerant, so they don't really, they're not very flexible when it comes to like listening to other ideas people have. So it's either the way or the highway. So most people, you find if a manager or a director or a supervisor has this temperament, they are hated. In the office, they are hated. They are not our favorites. And then also, if you don't know you have that, then you find you are wondering why people don't like you, why people, you are the manager in this department, but people feel free speaking to another manager in another department. People feel free, and maybe you don't understand. So it's very important that even to take a personality test, or even at least to know, to understand. That's why we are having this conversation. It's for awareness. We are saying this for awareness, and so that we can be able to manage, you know. So you find they do very well in areas of leadership. They do very well in the areas of management, in business. These kind of people do very well in those areas. Well, some of the other, maybe because there are strengths and weaknesses of each. Of course, some of the weaknesses will be, of course, they're very intolerant, very impatient people, very fast-paced. And you know, in anywhere, even if it's at home or anytime you're working with a group of people, there are those who are a bit slow. You have to say something again and again, 1, 2, 3, for them to get it. These are fast people. They will be very bored to keep on telling you, do this, do this, do this. Utapata mnakosana. There's always friction between you. So you need to be a bit slow, a bit patient, because people are different. Yes. So it's one of the temperaments. It's extroverted. These are people who are very loud also.
They like people. Would say they like being with people or people, but not necessarily because of heart-to-heart relationships.
No. It's about it's what they can get when it comes to relationships. Also, maybe as I finish, when it comes to relationships, you have a partner who is a choleric. You must be very patient. You must be very understanding, because you might think they are rude. You might think they are being rude, or they are being very, domineering, because all the time they want to assert, this is what we should do, this was to be done. Yes, so when it comes to relationship, you have to be a bit patient with them and understanding.
So in a nutshell, most cholerics are go-getters.
Yes.
They are goal-oriented.
Goal-oriented.
Task-oriented.
Yes. They are decisive. They are the natural leaders, actually. They are natural leaders. Yes, very decisive.
I'm sure, Judy, you'd like to add something to that.
Yeah, I find, I like the extrapolation by our sister Sarah, is that many times when people are doing their own personality tests, you find everyone trying to gravitate towards being a choleric as they're doing the test, because somehow the way we have been taught is that a choleric is the leader. And I keep saying, sanguines are just as good leaders as cholerics, if you can harness the power of your strengths. Melancholics can be just as strong leaders as a choleric, if you can harness the power of your strength. A phlegmatic is just as good leader as a choleric. I keep saying the perfect example of a non-choleric who made it as a leader in this country, His Excellency Mwai Kibaki. He was melancholic, phlegmatic, delivered results without too much talk. So that is to settle anyone, even as you listen to this conversation, so that you don't think, oh, I'm a phlegmatic, therefore I cannot be a leader. I'm a melancholic, therefore I cannot be a leader. I'm a sanguine, therefore I cannot be a leader. The whole conversation that we are having is such that we are able to highlight and also show people their unique strengths. Once you're able to own your strengths, with your unique strengths, you can rise to any position.
Some of the weaknesses that Sarah has mentioned about a choleric is that they are intolerant.
Yes.
They can be too domineering. They are impatient. How can someone who has this temperament be able to work on these weaknesses so that it turns out to be a strength at the end of the day?
Let me tell you my own story. I'm sanguine choleric. So I struggled with anger for the longest time in my life. And even as I continued struggling with anger, then I didn't understand that I had an anger issue until I read that book, Why You Act the Way You Do. I'm like, Now I started praying for God to deal with my anger issues. I prayed. I can say it went down a little bit. But let me tell you the truth, Linda, I did not get my breakthrough until I understood the root of my anger. Because many times and that's why I was saying that the whole study about temperaments has to be progressed further. Where now it moves past, this is the bedrock of what your temperament was, as this is what the Lord lent us, or God lent us, when he created Linda, when he created Judy, when he created Sarah, and brought them into planet Earth. But then what is the sum total of your experiences that then begins to determine the expression of your temperament? Because then that is what is going to begin to affect your character, your mindset, your beliefs, and your perceptions. Then based on that, your personality then begins to come out based on the sum total of one, your temperament, but secondly, it has been affected by all this. So in coaching, what then we try to come and do is to try and eliminate these other things that became a color to your temperament, so that then we begin to see your strengths and not your weaknesses. The anger that you seem to see, the intolerance that you seem to see that comes with a choleric, comes because of their life experiences that sometimes tended to heighten their weaknesses. So as you take your healing journey, then it becomes easy for the Holy Spirit to work on your spirit, man, having then your soul being healed. And that's what we need to drive at. Because if you're going to try to work on your temperament by yourself, trying to tone down your anger by your strength, you won't get very far until you're able to get past whatever it is that causes your weaknesses to become heightened. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. So that's a conversation that we need to have, so that over and above us understanding our temperaments, we begin to ask ourselves, what then is the expression of my temperament? How is it that I, as a choleric, with the strengths that our sister has brought out very strongly, how is it that I, as a choleric, can be able to function in these strengths? And as I continue growing in sometimes not just my Christian experience, but also my soul being healed, that then I can come to the place where my strengths are heightened and the weaknesses tend to go away. Then now I can begin to express the 9 gifts of the Holy Spirit.
So then when we talk about probably in the corporate world, or even, around our relationships, for someone who is a choleric and they experience the impatience, they don't like working with people who are slow, what are some of the practical steps, aside from what Judy has said, allowing the Holy Spirit to work in you, practical steps that they can now begin to take so that they don't become abrasive towards people or push people away, instead of bringing them to work towards a goal together?
Yes. And I think what she said is very important, because of course there are some traits, or unless the Holy Spirit helps you, like things to do with forgiveness, things to do with anger, bitterness, and all of that, it can be a bit hard. So it's very, what she has said is very important. But then also one of the ways you can be able to work your patience also is by allowing other people. There's the aspect of delegation. Allow other people to be able to, take over, to give them charge, give them, that kind of freedom, because that's when you are able to realize the kind of gifts and talents and abilities that they have, So, and also understanding that you're not the best, as in, you don't know everything. You're not Alpha and Omega. You don't know everything. You need to understand that and appreciate that. And there's a reason why all of you are there in that setup, whether it's a work setup or maybe it's a family setup, or whichever group that you are in, you want to achieve something. There is a reason why each and every person is there. So first of all, also understanding that you don't know everything and you also need help. It helps you be a bit patient. It helps you to be able to listen, because one of the things that they don't listen much, or they'll listen to respond because they think they know.
To finish,
the only other person who challenges them in the meeting is another choleric, because they have the same energy, the same personality, and so they may be a bit intimidated by that person. Otherwise, any other personality, and especially the introverts, they will really stick. So it's important to first of all understand you don't know everything, and then also allow people, just give people a chance. Give people a chance, because that is why you are there. If you're the leader, you're there to build them. You build them by allowing them to speak up, allowing them to give the idea, allow them to be able to contribute. So I think those are some of the ways you can be able to build a little bit of patience,
Wow.
you know? Yeah. But also you need to be able to, we are saying this for awareness, you need to be able to be aware that you have that problem.
this is your
Otherwise,
temperament.
yes,
Yeah.
and you have that problem.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're joining in, we are talking about today temperaments today, and we were just talking about cholerics. I hope some of you are typing some of these notes on on YouTube and on Facebook so that the latecomers can catch up. So feel free to interact and engage with us. You can also share with us if you feel you're a choleric after we've discussed these traits of a choleric. Let's move to the next personality, Judy. Sanguines.
Sanguines are the people person. They are just full of life, they are full of energy, they're actually full of love. But the other thing about sanguines is that because they tend to be spontaneous in nature, sometimes they are challenged as far as discipline is concerned. So they may start something with gusto, but they're not able to get to the finish line, not because as long as the excitement goes, the project is over.
They're like a pendulum.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, the challenge of a sanguine, again, because of their nature, they are very people-based. So they tend to draw energy from people. They don't know how to spend time alone. And then again, they also tend to seek a lot of validation and affirmation from people, such that they tend to suffer from rejection a little more than other people. Because for them, they draw energy from people. In terms of where you'd normally find them in people-based careers, in sales, where they need to use persuasive skills, because they do very well as far as being with people is concerned. But yes, again, they do have leadership abilities, again, like we say. But then the other weakness is that sometimes they have an affinity to lying.
To cover them.
They cover their tracks.
Yeah.
If, again, they're not. Their weaknesses is also they do have anger issues. So sanguines have those challenges of having anger issues, of being disorganized and all. But then again, just like I said earlier, just like with a choleric, a sanguine needs to find out what is their expression and what affected their expression. Because now you need to go back and find out what are your life experiences that then seem to tend to heighten your ability to lie. That seems to heighten your disorganization, as an example. Because the truth is, God is just amazing. He doesn't give you one temperament. He gives you a mix to balance you. But then how are you able then to harness the power of the sanguine so that your ability to persuade people comes out to the fore and everything else can come down? Again, I'll say, you cannot be able to control it by yourself. And that's why people tend to have lapses, because it's not by willpower or determination.
The arm of the flesh.
Yeah, you'll get tired. So the whole thing, the best way to actually solve temperamental issues is by healing.
So, she's mentioned that the sanguines are the disorganized. So we'd say, if we'd come down to reality, in a house where a sanguine lives, where the cups are...
Socks are in the window sills.
They actually don't see a problem with
that. They you find even their desks. You're very disorganized, but they know where everything is. Yeah? So they're a bit disorganized. They're not very neat or very orderly. They're very spontaneous and random people. Mara, you can rely on them. Mara, you can't. They're like
they show that you can rely on them, but next minute they are sending
and then they are last minuters. The last minute is when they have a lot of energy to do everything. But then they had all the time. And one of also the other, weaknesses they'll have is that they are, they're chronically late.
Chronically late.
They'll struggle with that for life. Chronical lateness. That's why they're lying, because you have to cover why I was here, I was there,
So they're the people you call, niko hapa Nyayo, I'm just hapa Nyayo, yet they are in Utawala.
Hata siku moja ukipata amekuja mapema. That is the random time. But that's why she was saying that they are not able to follow through to the end. If we start a business, because I'm also sanguine, So if we start something, I'm a sanguine choleric.
Choleric. Oh, you guys are
So the thing is that if we start a business together, and maybe you are an introvert, let's say you are a phlegmatic and I'm a sanguine. You as a phlegmatic, you're going to be very intimidated by me because I have a lot of energy and I'm shouting, I'm energy and I'm moving, what have you, but
you're hugging everybody.
And let's give ourselves a year. But chances are you will still be going. The phlegmatic will still be going, but because there are also sanguines are also very impatient people. If it's not working, there are difficulties. Shoo, to the next one.
They have a dream immediately.
To the next quills business. Even when it comes to investment, most of the sanguines, they don't even want to know the logic of how the business works. One testimonial, it worked for Judy. Dani. So yes, Dani, they don't want to know like what's the business, like how it works. They spare me the details. You ndio ameomoka nayo.
So they are the ones who would easily fall to the chemical business.
Good. Sasa the choleric, when it comes to investment, they will actually look at the business plan. They're very good there. They look, they plan, and then they're also fast in making. They're able to identify opportunities and jump in. But when it comes to the sanguine, for them, they are not detailed people. They don't want the details. They want the results, and I'm going for the results. So when they don't see the results in the beginning, they give up. So that's why you find that even people who are, you can even be able to tell us something from the CV, because hapa miezi tatu, hapa miezi tisa. Hii alikaa sana. That was miezi tisa ndio alikaa sana. Akaenda hapa miezi tatu. You are asking, why are you jumping from jobs? Because they are very adventurous people. Very adventurous. They want to try out things. They live large also.
They are the YOLO. You only live once.
Yes, they live large. I'm telling you. And then sometimes you find you thought somebody was like they had a lot of money. They were living large. Then you hear maybe when like they fall sick or God forbid they die, you find like people are contributing. You wonder, but this person was huge. He had money. He had. You can't, you wonder, where does that money go? Because they live large, and also the main concern in life is to have fun and please people.
Wow. So in a minute, let's look at a sanguine in relationships. In just a minute, Judy.
They're very expressive. They are very loving, but then sometimes they would have a challenge as far as faithfulness is concerned.
They are adventurous.
They can see something more beautiful.
They can see, and don't forget, again, they are very visual people. They like, you get it. So that would be their challenge. But as far as being loving and all is concerned,
would you say that sanguines are more forgiving?
Yes, because they tend to forget very fast.
So they forgive not because they remember, but because they forgot.
They forgot. Actually, totally, you forget and move on. The next time someone tells you, "Nani alikufanya nini?" You're like, ata ukweli kabisa, the memory was erased.
There are those people, by the way, who they come, maybe mmekosana or something. The next minute, Nani Linda, see, they wanna kuongelesha like nothing happened, and for them they don't carry guilt.
They don't carry grudges. They easily offset or offenses.
Yes, very forgetful people. They also know the best. Okay, in terms of having a friend, if you hear your secret out and you have a sanguine friend, you know the culprit. So I'm not sure they are the best friends.
So now you understand why people don't tell you their secrets?
They want to be the first to say the motion. Did you hear? Did you? They want. They want to be the ones telling. So if you have a sanguine friend, this one I can say.
But their strength would come in a party because they are the life of the party.
They are yes, of course. Now they are the life of the party. They are the loudest people. They are the loud noise makers in any room.
Any yellow color you see screaming.
You can tell them from even the colors. Blue hair, nails, I don't know which. I mean, they wear even bright colors because they're not afraid of the attention. They like the stage. Showbiz is where they thrive.
Wow, so I hope you guys have learned something. Are you a sanguine? Are you a choleric? Do you have both temperaments intertwined together? Because we heard that you can never be one. God allows balance so that you don't become an extreme person. We are going to go on a short break, but when we come back, we are going to pick up from there. See you in a few.